Hey there, my wonderful listeners. Welcome back to another episode of the Elderly Transformation Podcast, where we talk about all things health, vitality, and longevity for our amazing senior community. I'm your host, Alex, and today I've got a question for you. Do you know that the way you're eating cheese right now might be silently cutting years off your life? Yes, you heard that right. Cheese. That creamy, comforting food we sprinkle on pasta, melt on toast, or enjoy with a cracker in front of the TV might actually be doing more harm than good if eaten the wrong way. Now I know what you're thinking, but Alex, cheese has calcium, protein, and all those good nutrients we've been told are healthy. And you're absolutely right. Cheese can be a valuable part of your diet, especially as we age. But here's the catch. The how, when, and how much matters far more than most people realize. See, as our bodies age, our metabolism slows down, our kidneys work harder, and our heart becomes more sensitive to excess fats and sodium. That means the same cheesy snacks we loved in our 30s might not be doing us any favors in our 60s, 70s, or beyond. In this episode, we're uncovering the 3 most dangerous cheese habits that could be slowly sabotaging your health. And I promise, the last one is a real game changer, so make sure you stick around for that. Before we dive deeper, I'd love to know, how often do you eat cheese? Do you find yourself adding it to every meal, or do you try to keep it in moderation? Drop your experiences and habits in the comments below. I'm always curious to hear how you incorporate cheese into your daily life. Now that we've got your attention, let's talk about why cheese can become tricky as we grow older. As we age, our bodies go through a series of transformations. Our metabolism slows, our digestive enzymes become less efficient, and our cardiovascular system becomes more sensitive to what we put on our plates. For instance, the enzyme lactase, which helps us break down lactose, the natural sugar in milk and cheese, often decreases with age. That means a cheesy meal that once felt comforting might now leave you bloated, sluggish, or with digestive discomfort. On top of that, the saturated fat and sodium found in many cheese varieties can start to work against an aging body. High sodium levels contribute to water retention and increased blood pressure, something many seniors already struggle with. While excess saturated fat can raise LDL cholesterol, the so-called bad cholesterol, increasing the risk of heart disease and clogged arteries. Think about it like this. When we're younger, our bodies are a bit more forgiving. We could indulge in cheesy pizza, nachos, or creamy pasta without much consequence. But after 60, our systems become less resilient. Every bite counts more. That's why it's so important to not just eat cheese, but to eat it wisely. Today, we'll go step by step through the biggest cheese mistakes people make and how to fix them. You'll learn what portion sizes are truly healthy, which cheese types support your health rather than harm it, and how to combine cheese with the right foods for maximum benefit. So if you love your cheddar, mozzarella, or brie, don't worry, I'm not here to take it away from you. I'm here to help you enjoy it smarter. Because when you know how to balance your diet, you can still enjoy your favorites without putting your health at risk. Let's dive right into our first big mistake, and honestly, it's the one I see the most often: eating too much cheese. Now I get it. Cheese is delicious. It's rich, creamy, satisfying, and let's face it, it makes just about everything taste better. From omelets in the morning, to cheesy soups at lunch, and maybe even a little snack of cheddar cubes at night, cheese can easily sneak its way into every meal without us realizing it. But here's the issue. Cheese is incredibly calorie-dense, and even small portions pack a lot of saturated fat and sodium. For example, just 1 ounce, that's about the size of your thumb, can have around 100 calories and 6 grams of saturated fat. That might not sound like much, but if you're sprinkling cheese on eggs, sandwiches, casseroles, and salads throughout the day, those numbers add up fast. Many older adults underestimate how much they're really eating. They might slice just a little for their toast or snack, just a few cubes in the afternoon, but by the end of the day, they've consumed half a block. Over time, this habit can raise cholesterol levels, strain the heart, and make it harder to manage blood pressure, all of which are crucial concerns as we age. Think of cheese like a seasoning, not a main course. It's meant to enhance a meal, not dominate it. The key is moderation. Experts often suggest keeping servings to around 1 to 2 ounces per day, enough to enjoy the flavor without overwhelming your system. Try pre-portioning slices or cubes instead of eating straight from the block, or measure shredded cheese before adding it to dishes. These small steps can make a huge difference. Remember, balance is everything. You don't have to give up cheese entirely, you just have to respect its power. After all, even the healthiest foods can become harmful when eaten in excess. Another sneaky habit that catches many of us off guard, especially in retirement or during quiet evenings at home, is mindless cheese snacking. You know those moments when you're watching TV, reading a book, or chatting on the phone, and you grab just a few slices or cubes of cheese? Before you know it, half the block is gone. This isn't about willpower, it's about awareness. Cheese has that comforting texture and savory flavor that triggers the brain's pleasure centers, releasing dopamine, the feel-good hormone, which makes it very easy to keep going back for more. For older adults who may be spending more time at home or looking for satisfying snacks that don't require cooking, cheese becomes an easy go-to. But here's the challenge. Each nibble contributes more sodium, fat, and calories than we think. Over weeks and months, this can lead to creeping weight gain, higher blood pressure, and increased cholesterol levels, all of which adds stress to your heart and circulation system. Instead of reaching for cheese automatically, try setting boundaries. Portion out your cheese onto a small plate, maybe 1 or 2 slices, and pair it with something wholesome like apple slices, cucumber rounds, or whole grain crackers. This not only stretches the serving, but also adds fiber, which helps digestion and keeps you full longer. And if you love the act of snacking, consider alternating cheese days with other high-protein options like a handful of unsalted nuts, a boiled egg, or Greek yogurt. Remember, awareness is key. Ask yourself, am I really hungry or just looking for something to do? Often, that little pause can help you make a smarter choice. And don't worry, in just a moment, we'll move on to another common mistake that's often hiding in plain sight. But before that, if you've ever caught yourself snacking on cheese a little too often, tell me in the comments, how do you usually enjoy your cheese? Do you measure it, or do you just grab a few pieces and go? Let's share some honest experiences. You're not alone. Before we move forward to the next big cheese mistake, which, by the way, might completely change the way you shop at the grocery store, let's take a quick moment to connect. If you're enjoying this conversation so far and learning something new, do me a small favor that makes a big difference. Hit that like button, subscribe to the Elderly Transformation Podcast, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another episode. We've got so many exciting topics coming up, from the truth about healthy sugar substitutes to how to build stronger bones after 60. And I'd love for you to be part of this growing community. When you subscribe, you're not just supporting this show. You're joining a movement of seniors and caregivers who believe that aging doesn't mean slowing down. It means transforming smarter. And honestly, I can't do this without you. Every like, every comment, every share helps spread this message to others who might need it most. Think about that friend or family member who loves cheese. Go ahead and send them this episode. You never know whose life a little awareness could change. And don't forget, your feedback means the world to me. I read every single comment and I love hearing your stories. What's working for you, what challenges you face, and what topics you'd like me to cover next. So take a second now, click that like, hit subscribe, and drop a comment to say hi. Alright, let's get back into it. Up next, we're diving into mistake number 2, where we'll talk about why some cheeses are secretly working against your health, even though they might look innocent on the label. Stick around, because this next part could completely reshape how you pick your cheese the next time you're at the store. Alright, welcome back. Now that we've talked about portion control and how easy it is to overdo it, let's dive into the second big mistake: choosing the wrong type of cheese. This is a sneaky one because, on the surface, all cheese might look similar. But the truth is, not all cheeses are created equal, and some are downright dangerous for aging bodies when eaten regularly. Many older adults reach for what's most convenient or affordable, which often means highly processed cheeses. Think individually wrapped slices, cheese spreads, or pre-shredded bags that have additives and anti-caking agents. These products tend to be loaded with sodium, saturated fats, and artificial ingredients that strain your kidneys, increase blood pressure, and promote inflammation throughout the body. Over time, this can contribute to conditions like fluid retention, cardiovascular stress, and even joint pain. Then, there are full-fat, aged cheeses. Delicious, yes, but also very rich. While a small piece of aged cheddar or Gouda can offer calcium and protein, too much can overload your system with fat and cholesterol. The good news is you don't have to give up cheese, you just have to choose smarter. Look for low-fat or reduced sodium options, or better yet, naturally aged cheeses like Parmesan, Swiss, or Feta, which are typically lower in lactose and easier on digestion. Another great tip: read the nutrition label. If sodium or saturated fat is sky-high, or if the ingredients list is longer than a sentence, that's your red flag. And when possible, opt for cheeses made from goat or sheep's milk. They're often easier to digest and have a slightly different fat profile that can be friendlier to sensitive stomachs. Remember, it's not about cutting out cheese. It's about elevating your choices. The better the quality, the less you'll need, because real flavor doesn't require big portions. Coming up, we'll explore some underrated health-friendly cheese options that not only taste great, but also support your bones, heart, and gut health. So don't go anywhere. The next one might just become your new favorite. Let's be honest, most of us don't spend a lot of time reading food labels, especially when it comes to something as familiar as cheese. But here's the thing: the nutritional label can be your best defense against hidden health risks, particularly for seniors watching their blood pressure, heart health, or kidney function. Many popular cheese brands pack in far more sodium than you'd expect. Some processed cheeses can contain over 400 milligrams of sodium per ounce. That's nearly a fifth of the daily limit recommended for older adults. And remember, most people don't stop at 1 ounce. That means a few innocent slices on your sandwich could easily push you past your daily sodium goal before dinner even rolls around. Excess sodium doesn't just make you thirsty. It leads to fluid retention, swollen ankles, and over time, elevated blood pressure, which puts extra strain on the heart and arteries. When you're standing in the grocery aisle, take a second to turn that package around and look at the fine print. Choose cheeses labeled low sodium, light, or part skim, and aim for options with less than 200 milligrams of sodium per ounce whenever possible. Also, check for additives like sodium phosphate or monosodium glutamate, MSG, which are common in heavily processed varieties. These compounds can trigger inflammation or bloating, especially in sensitive individuals. Instead, go for simple, natural cheeses with short ingredient lists. Ideally, just milk, enzymes, salt, and cultures. A good rule of thumb: the fewer the ingredients, the better it is for you. And here's another pro tip: freshly slicing cheese from a block rather than buying pre-shredded often means fewer preservatives and a cleaner product. So next time you shop, let that nutrition label be your guide. A little label reading now can save you a lot of heartache, literally, down the road. Up next, we're going to talk about how your cheese choices can actually help your gut, joints, and bones, if you pick the right kind. You'll definitely want to hear about these overlooked gems. Now that we've uncovered the sodium traps lurking in your fridge, let's turn the spotlight on the heroes. Cheeses that actually work with your body instead of against it. Believe it or not, there are plenty of varieties that can support your bones, digestion, and heart when chosen wisely and enjoyed in moderation. Let's start with feta and goat cheese. These are lighter, tangier options that contain less lactose, making them gentler on older digestive systems. Because they're naturally rich in flavor, a small sprinkle goes a long way, helping you control portions effortlessly. Then there's Parmesan, a hard-aged cheese packed with calcium and protein. It's naturally lower in moisture and lactose, so it tends to be easier to digest. Plus, because Parmesan is so sharp in taste, you can use just a teaspoon or two to bring big flavor to soups, salads, or roasted veggies. Another overlooked option is cottage cheese, especially the low-fat, low-sodium kind. It's a fantastic source of casein protein, which digests slowly and helps preserve muscle mass, something every senior should pay attention to for strength and mobility. And if you're looking for a cheese that supports gut health, try kefir cheese or yogurt-based spreads. These probiotic-rich options can nurture your gut microbiome, improving digestion and even boosting immunity. The key is to think quality over quantity. Instead of grabbing a big block of processed cheese, invest in smaller portions of naturally aged or fresh cheeses from trusted sources. You'll taste the difference, and your body will feel it too. Try experimenting. Crumble a bit of feta over roasted vegetables, or stir some cottage cheese into your breakfast bowl with fruit and nuts. When you start to view cheese as a complement, not a centerpiece, you'll discover new flavors while protecting your long-term health. And we're not done yet. Next, we'll explore how pairing your cheese the right way can make all the difference. You'll want to stick around for this one, because even the best cheese can turn into a troublemaker if you mix it with the wrong foods. All right, my friends, we've talked about eating too much cheese and picking the wrong kinds. But now we're stepping into a mistake that most people never even think about. What you're eating with your cheese. Yep, pairing matters, a lot more than you might expect. Many of us have long-standing habits that seem harmless. Crackers and cheese as a snack, cheese and salami at a party, or a few slices with a glass of sweet wine after dinner. But here's the catch. These combinations often pack a triple threat of saturated fat, sodium, and sugar, which can wreak havoc on aging bodies. For example, pairing cheese with processed meats like pepperoni, salami, or deli ham doubles your sodium and cholesterol intake in one sitting. Add a glass of sweet wine to the mix, and you're introducing extra sugar that spikes your blood sugar levels. Not great news if you're managing diabetes or insulin resistance. Even the classic cheese and crackers combo can be tricky, since many store-bought crackers are made with refined flour, low fiber, and added salt. So what's the better move? Think balance. Cheese pairs beautifully with fiber-rich foods like apple slices, carrot sticks, bell peppers, or whole grain crackers. These options help slow digestion, balance blood sugar, and keep you full longer, all while complementing the rich flavors of cheese. You could also try combining cheese with plant-based proteins like hummus or a handful of unsalted nuts for extra nutrition and heart-healthy fats. And here's something many people overlook: timing. Eating cheese-heavy snacks right before bed can interfere with digestion, cause bloating, or even disrupt sleep, especially for those sensitive to lactose. Instead, aim to enjoy cheese earlier in the day when your metabolism is more active. Think of cheese as part of a meal, not a solo act. It's a supporting player, not the star. Coming up, we'll go even deeper into how timing and smart combinations can transform not just your diet, but your energy, sleep, and long-term wellness. So stick around, because these small tweaks make a big difference. Before we dive even deeper into the world of smarter cheese habits, let's take a quick pause to reconnect. If you're enjoying the tips and examples so far, here's a little nudge. Hit that like button, subscribe to the Elderly Transformation podcast, and make sure your notifications are turned on. Why? Because there's so much more coming, from clever meal pairings to surprising ways cheese can actually support your health if done right. By subscribing, you're not just following a podcast. You're joining a vibrant community of seniors, caregivers, and family members who are all committed to thriving, not just surviving, in their golden years. Every like and comment you leave not only helps us continue producing valuable content, but also allows us to reach more people who could benefit from these insights. Plus, your engagement inspires me to bring even more practical, beginner-friendly tips that make healthy living simple, enjoyable, and sustainable. And while you're at it, drop a comment and share your thoughts. Have you ever felt guilty about eating cheese, or found yourself snacking a little too much? Your stories might help someone else realize they're not alone in this journey. All right, now that we're recharged, let's get back into it. Coming up, we'll explore how to incorporate cheese into balanced meals, with some simple, actionable examples that make eating both tasty and healthy feel effortless. You'll want to hear this, because the next section is where the magic really happens, combining flavor, nutrition, and senior-friendly wisdom all in one plate. Now that we're back, let's talk about how to make cheese work for you, not against you, by pairing it with the right foods at the right times. One of the biggest secrets to enjoying cheese without harming your health is thoughtful meal planning. Instead of eating it as a standalone snack, try incorporating cheese into meals that are balanced and nutrient-rich. For instance, topping a salad with a small crumble of feta or goat cheese not only adds flavor, but also combines protein, calcium, and healthy fats with fiber from leafy greens, cucumbers, or tomatoes. The fiber helps slow digestion, keeping your blood sugar stable and promoting heart and gut health. Another excellent pairing is cheese with whole grains. A slice of whole grain toast, topped with low-fat mozzarella, or a sprinkle of Parmesan over roasted quinoa or brown rice, can make a meal satisfying while keeping sodium and fat in check. And don't forget vegetables. Pairing cheese with roasted or raw vegetables like bell peppers, broccoli, or zucchini not only adds crunch and flavor, but also boosts antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals, which are essential for immune support and reducing inflammation in older adults. Even when it comes to snacks, you can get creative. Try apple slices with a thin layer of sharp cheddar, or small cubes of aged cheese with unsalted nuts. The possibilities are endless, and the key is balance. Pairing cheese with high-fiber, nutrient-dense foods ensures that every bite supports your health rather than working against it. Remember, the last part of this episode is particularly important because it will focus on how timing and consistency can make cheese a long-term ally rather than a hidden risk. Stick around. The final tip might change your relationship with cheese forever. Let's explore something many people overlook. When you eat cheese can be just as important as how much or what type you choose. For seniors, timing affects digestion, sleep, and even energy levels throughout the day. Eating cheese late at night, for example, can cause digestive discomfort, bloating, or even disrupted sleep, especially if the cheese is full fat or paired with other heavy foods. This happens because older adults often produce less stomach acid and digestive enzymes, so rich fatty foods take longer to break down. On the other hand, enjoying cheese earlier in the day, such as during breakfast, lunch, or mid-afternoon snacks, allows your body more time to digest and metabolize the fats and proteins efficiently. A great strategy is to include a small portion of cheese as part of a balanced meal rather than as a late-night snack. For instance, a morning omelet with a sprinkling of low-fat cheese or a lunch salad topped with feta or parmesan gives your body the benefit of protein, calcium, and flavor without overloading your digestive system. Another tip is spreading cheese intake throughout the week rather than consuming a large amount in one sitting. This prevents spikes in sodium and saturated fat while still letting you enjoy the foods you love. Think of cheese as a companion to your meals, not a standalone star that dominates your plate or your day. And speaking of timing, the way you integrate cheese consistently over weeks and months can make a big difference for your long-term heart, bone, and digestive health. We'll talk about how cheese interacts with hydration and fluid balance, a topic that often surprises seniors, but is crucial for feeling energized and staying healthy. Now let's tackle a topic that often goes unnoticed: how cheese affects hydration and fluid balance. Many seniors don't realize that cheese, especially the saltier varieties, can subtly influence how much water your body retains. Sodium, which is naturally present in most cheeses and often added in processed varieties, draws water into the bloodstream, leading to fluid retention. This can cause swollen ankles, puffiness, and even put extra strain on the heart and kidneys, organs that already work harder with age. That's why pairing cheese with hydration strategies is so important. Drinking water before and after a meal that includes cheese can help your body maintain a healthy fluid balance. Pairing cheese with fresh fruits and vegetables is another smart move because these foods contain water and electrolytes that counteract the sodium load, helping your body stay balanced. For example, a salad with sliced mozzarella, cucumbers, tomatoes, and a light drizzle of olive oil is both satisfying and hydrating. Another tip is to mix lower sodium cheeses into your meals instead of reaching for heavily salted blocks or processed slices. Not only does this help control water retention, but it also supports kidney function, which becomes increasingly important as we age. Remember, cheese doesn't have to be off limits. You just need to be strategic about what you eat with it and how you hydrate. In fact, when paired correctly, cheese can be a healthy, protein-rich addition that keeps you feeling full and satisfied without causing unwanted swelling or discomfort. Next, we'll explore a little-known benefit of cheese: how it can support bone health and joint strength when chosen wisely. This might surprise a lot of you. Let's talk about one of the best reasons to enjoy cheese: supporting your bones and joints. As we age, maintaining strong bones becomes essential to staying independent and active. Cheese, especially naturally aged and dairy-rich varieties, is a fantastic source of calcium and protein, two nutrients that play a vital role in bone density and muscle support. Calcium helps your bones remain strong, while protein aids in repairing tissue and maintaining muscle mass, crucial for preventing falls and injuries. Additionally, some cheeses, particularly those made with fermented cultures, contain vitamin K2, which helps direct calcium to the bones rather than the arteries. This means you're strengthening your skeletal system without contributing to plaque buildup in your blood vessels. A win-win for seniors. And let's not forget joint health. Adequate protein intake supports cartilage repair, while calcium and phosphorus, both abundant in cheese, contribute to joint resilience. Even small servings, when incorporated consistently into meals, can provide a steady stream of these essential nutrients. For example, adding a sprinkle of Parmesan over roasted vegetables, enjoying a small serving of cottage cheese with fruit, or including feta in a Mediterranean-style salad can make a significant difference over time. The key is balance. Choose nutrient-dense, natural cheeses and combine them with vegetables, whole grains, and healthy fats to maximize their benefits. Coming up next, we'll discuss how cheese affects heart health and why moderation and pairing are your best allies. Now, let's focus on a topic that's critical for everyone, but especially for seniors: heart health. Cheese often gets a bad reputation because of its saturated fat content, and while it's true that excessive consumption can raise cholesterol, the story is more nuanced than that. The key is moderation and smart choices. Naturally aged cheeses such as Parmesan, Swiss, or Feta contain healthy proteins and fats that, when eaten in appropriate portions, do not necessarily harm the heart. On the other hand, processed cheeses and heavy full-fat blocks eaten in large quantities can increase LDL cholesterol and blood pressure, which over time stress the cardiovascular system. Pairing cheese with fiber-rich foods like vegetables, beans, or whole grains helps offset potential cholesterol spikes, improves digestion, and supports overall heart health. Additionally, incorporating healthy fats like olive oil or avocado alongside cheese can enhance the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins while providing heart-friendly monounsaturated fats. Think of cheese as a partner rather than a threat. When consumed thoughtfully, it can be part of a heart-healthy, enjoyable diet. Small adjustments, like measuring portions, selecting low-sodium options, and pairing with nutrient-dense foods, make a huge difference in protecting your heart over the long term. And before we move into the next tip, a friendly reminder. If you're finding this episode useful, please like, comment, and subscribe. Sharing these tips helps our community grow and thrive. Next, we'll explore how to enjoy cheese guilt-free while still maintaining healthy habits, a strategy many seniors overlook but absolutely love once they try it. Let's take a moment to talk about something equally important as choosing the right cheese or pairing it well: how to enjoy it without guilt. Many seniors feel conflicted about cheese. They love the taste, but worry about calories, fat, or sodium. The good news is that with a few simple strategies, you can enjoy cheese mindfully and confidently without sabotaging your health. Start by pre-portioning your cheese before eating. Instead of grabbing a handful or slicing directly from the block, measure out 1 to 2 ounces, about the size of 2 thumbs, and place it on a small plate. This keeps you aware of how much you're consuming and prevents accidental overindulgence. Next, practice mindful eating. Slow down, savor each bite, and truly enjoy the texture and flavor. This small habit can make a little cheese feel indulgent, reducing the urge to eat more. Pairing cheese with fiber-rich foods, as we discussed earlier, not only balances your meal nutritionally, but also helps you feel fuller longer. Another tip: keep a rotation of different cheeses. If you vary your options, you're less likely to overeat any single type, and you get the benefit of a broader nutrient profile. Finally, remember that enjoying cheese is about quality, not quantity. A few bites of high-quality, flavorful cheese can be far more satisfying than a large slice of processed cheese. With these mindset and portion tips, cheese can become a healthy, enjoyable part of your diet, and you can relax knowing it's supporting your long-term wellness. Coming up, we'll discuss a few bonus tips and practical hacks to help make cheese a positive, rather than risky, part of your daily life. Now that we've covered the main mistakes and strategies, let's dive into some bonus tips to help cheese fit seamlessly into your lifestyle. First, consider mixing cheese into meals rather than eating it alone. For instance, sprinkle a little Parmesan on roasted vegetables, fold feta into a Mediterranean salad, or stir cottage cheese into oatmeal or smoothies. This way, you enhance flavor while adding protein and calcium without overloading on fat or sodium. Another tip is rotating cheese types throughout the week. By alternating between goat cheese, mozzarella, feta, and cottage cheese, you get a variety of nutrients and flavors, making meals more enjoyable and nutritionally balanced. You can also combine cheese with herbs and spices, like paprika, oregano, or fresh basil, to boost taste without adding salt. If you're a fan of snacking, try preparing small snack packs with cheese cubes, apple slices, and unsalted nuts. It's convenient, portion-controlled and keeps you satisfied. For those who enjoy cooking, experimenting with baking or lightly melting cheese can transform dishes while limiting the quantity you use. And don't forget about hydration. Pairing cheese with water or water-rich foods ensures your body maintains proper fluid balance, especially important for seniors. Finally, consider keeping a cheese diary for a week or two. Tracking what types you eat, portions, and pairings can reveal patterns and habits you might want to adjust. These small practical hacks make cheese a delicious, safe, and supportive part of your diet. Up next, we'll move toward wrapping everything up with a summary of the key takeaways and a final call to action to help you live a longer, healthier, and more enjoyable life. As we near the end of today's episode, let's take a moment to recap the most important lessons from our deep dive into cheese and senior health. First, remember that portion control is everything. Even the healthiest cheese can become harmful if eaten in large amounts. 1 to 2 ounces per serving is usually sufficient to enjoy flavor and nutrients without overloading your system. Second, choose your cheese wisely. Opt for naturally aged, low-sodium, and lower-fat varieties whenever possible, and avoid highly processed blocks or spreads that contain hidden additives. Third, consider what you pair cheese with. Fiber-rich vegetables, whole grains, and protein sources help balance your meals, protect your heart, and aid digestion. Fourth, pay attention to timing. Enjoy cheese earlier in the day, spread your intake over the week, and avoid late-night indulgences that may interfere with digestion and sleep. Fifth, don't forget about hydration and nutrient balance. Pairing cheese with water-rich foods and staying properly hydrated prevents fluid retention and supports kidney health. Finally, adopt a mindful, guilt-free approach. Pre-portion servings, savor each bite, and rotate cheese types to enjoy variety and flavor. All these small adjustments add up, transforming cheese from a potential risk into a delicious ally for your bones, heart, gut, and overall well-being. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate cheese. It's to make it work for your body, supporting vitality, independence, and a longer, healthier life. Before we close, I want to leave you with some practical next steps that turn today's insights into action. First, take a moment to audit your current cheese habits. Look at what types you eat, how often, and in what quantities. Awareness is the first step toward improvement. Next, plan small, sustainable changes. For instance, swapping processed slices for a naturally aged option, pairing cheese with vegetables, or measuring portions before eating. You might also consider experimenting with new flavors like goat cheese, feta, or low-sodium mozzarella to discover options that are both satisfying and healthier. Another important step is to consult your healthcare provider or a dietitian, especially if you have existing health conditions like high blood pressure, kidney issues, or cholesterol concerns. They can help tailor these tips to your personal needs. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Even minor adjustments, consistently applied, can significantly improve heart, bone, and gut health over time. Finally, reflect on your mindset. See cheese as an ally, not a villain. When you approach it thoughtfully, cheese becomes a source of enjoyment, nutrition, and comfort, all things that matter deeply as we age. Small, intentional actions today lead to long-term vitality, independence, and confidence in your daily life. And as always, I encourage you to like, comment, and share your experiences with this episode. Your story might inspire someone else to take control of their health. As we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with one empowering thought. Cheese doesn't have to be a guilty pleasure. It can be a nourishing, enjoyable part of your life. The secret lies in awareness, moderation, smart choices, and thoughtful pairings. By controlling portions, selecting nutrient-rich cheeses, pairing them with fiber, whole grains, and vegetables, and paying attention to timing and hydration, you transform cheese from a potential risk into a tool for vitality and longevity. Remember, every small change you make today compounds over time, helping maintain heart health, strong bones, joint resilience, and digestive comfort, all key factors for a vibrant, independent life as we age. So whether it's sprinkling Parmesan on your morning omelet, enjoying feta in a colorful salad, or savoring a modest slice of sharp cheddar, do it with intention and gratitude for the nourishment it provides. And finally, I want to thank you for joining me today on the Elderly Transformation Podcast. If you found value in this episode, please like, subscribe, and share so more people can benefit from these insights. Remember, taking small, thoughtful steps with your nutrition today is one of the most powerful investments in your future self. Living longer, tasting better, and thriving every day. Until next time, I'm Alex, reminding you that your golden years can be flavorful, healthy, and full of vitality.